Hi, welcome back to Brush Up Your Game. So, this channel has been about Star Trek for a very long time, and I want to take this video to talk about what Star Trek means to me as a person. Um, some of my earliest memories growing up are watching Star Trek The Next Generation. I remember being on a bike ride with my mom and sister, and I raced home to catch an episode of Next Gen as it was airing. Um, Gosh, that would have been right at the end, season 7. We're talking 1994 type time frame. 93, 94, when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Um, and something just clicked. My dad had a laser disc player. Yeah, dating technology here. But um, he had a few episodes of Next Gen on Laserdisc, and one of them was the outrageous Okana. Uh, and I watched that episode several times. He also had the Ferengi episode in season 2. I want to think it is where the Enterprise and the Ferengi ship are stranded on the planet. Um, no power, having to figure out um, what to do, and the away team going on going on the planet and having to work together to figure out how to make the situation come together. That was the Takan, the ancient race. I also remember the episode where Picard gets possessed by the cloud entity and starts trying to leave the ship to go back to the cloud. And Data trying to become a comedian with the help of Dr. Pulaski. Those episodes I grew up watching because we had them on Laserdisc and I could watch them whenever. Uh, and I would watch episodes of Next Gen with my dad. Uh, and then Deep Space Nine came out, and I didn't really watch much DS9 when it aired, but I watched enough, and I liked Jadzia because science was cool, math was cool, and our landlord's daughter was a painter, and somewhere in a box at my parents, I still have a, a poster board that she a, drew and painted a replica of Jadzia on for me. And that was just a cool, heartfelt Star Trek gift. Gosh, there's a picture uh, somewhere in my parents' house of me dressing up in a Star Trek Next Gen captain's uniform. Gosh, I must have been 5 years old. Um, but that was just something I had fun with. I had the tricorder and the phaser and the Playmates bridge set and engineering room and transporter room sets, and things that I didn't appreciate at the time. Uh, but I also had fun playing with them. All of this helped me. I guess the best way to put it is it helped me view everyone as equal and shaping society for the better. Because, and I know I get myself in danger of making political statements when I say stuff like this, but the best, the best thing that Star Trek teaches us is that every person has the potential to add value. And that's all I'm going to say. Just the potential to add value. And because of that, people are worth listening to, they're worth having conversations with. And that is one way that I have chosen to live my life. Now, fast forward a few years, Deep Space Nine's still airing. I'm growing up. It's on in my area on Sunday nights. And on Sundays, we got together as a family. All my aunts and uncles who were living in the area, we would get together and Deep Space Nine would be on the TV. I didn't catch many episodes because as it got to the season 6 and 7 story arc, once you missed the big pieces of it, it wasn't time to try to catch up, and reruns weren't a thing, and streaming wasn't a thing to catch up on. So I really didn't get to watch it until years later when it was on the various networks that showed reruns of Star Trek. Now, Voyager, on the other hand, I got to stay up late through, oh, goodness, late elementary school, junior high, and watch that. And say what you will about Voyager, but it was still the Star Trek that I got to watch, that I got to stay up and watch. And something has stuck with me about Voyager, where Voyager was always about the journey. It was about enjoying who you were with, what you were doing along the way. Having an end goal in mind was very important. Working towards that goal was there, but never at the expense of the experiences you could gain along the way to try to make things better. And I ended up quoting that in a speech my senior year where I said to the journey, and I still continue to live by that philosophy where we need end goals, we need destinations, of course, but the journey needs to be a big part of what we do. And it's a balance of those ideas that it defines who I am. Now, of course, I watched Enterprise, enjoy Enterprise for what it is. I think it's interesting. Watched movies, but Star Trek has just shaped me as a person. Not to the point where I'm obsessed with it. I definitely enjoy it. I have a lot of Star Trek product. I certainly have a YouTube channel that I would say still primarily talks about Star Trek ideas. I connected with my wife partially because she is a Star Trek fan. I was privileged to be able to wear a Star Trek communicator as kind of the little boutonniere holder at my wedding. Sorry, I was searching for the word boutonniere, but that was a very emotional and very personal application, trinket, but defining moment for me because it said, hey, this is a part of who I am. And it's important for me to show my nerd side and be proud of that and have it show up in my wedding photos. And I'm fortunate that my wife encouraged that. For a lot of years, even though I lived at home with my parents, my dad and I didn't connect. Didn't, we got along fine, but we didn't connect. But having Star Trek as a means of discussion, as a means of working with each other, has always brought us closer. I think, yes, it's a TV show, but it's also a drive for exploration. He has a physics degree. He's always been big into astronomy and all things space and science that way. And having a show that sparked the imagination meant means a lot to him. And I think that there's, to put words in his mouth, I think that he enjoyed and still enjoys passing on bits of that to me. It's not always easy. I think he would love to see me doing bigger things, cooler things, but teaching math is something I am passionate about, and we always want to do what we're passionate about. Yeah, but Star Trek has been at the heart of several friend groups. Has been the means of a lot of my social interactions. I certainly would not be the same person I am today without Star Trek Attack Wing, without the shows that I've been a part of, State of the Federation, and then going and spinning off and doing the Shipyard and then Warp Core Breach podcast, having connections to people through that. People like Will and Tucker and then Nick, and then just expanding the friend group, the play group, driving over to Fremont, hosting a regional tournament, flying to Columbus, Ohio for Origins. That's the kind of stuff that teenage David wouldn't believe would have happened. But adult David goes, yeah, the power of Star Trek, the power of an idea, and the power of gamers has brought us all together, because we all believe that working together, working as part of a group, means more than trying to do it all by ourselves. So, yeah, that's a bit of what Star Trek means to me, what Star Trek and its offshoots has meant to me. I certainly wouldn't be here without Star Trek and then without Attack Wing. So, yeah, this holiday season I'm very grateful to have Star Trek in my life. And I know this is kind of a subdued video, but it's me. It's me and what's going on with me. So, anyway, thank you for listening. Let me know what Star Trek's meant to you. I think we all have a lot of stories we can share. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, keep brushing up your game. Take care.